It's your time. Better live it today. Take a stand. Meet your dreams halfway. Leave behind all the fear and doubt. And welcome to your beautiful now.
Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to a special edition of Beautiful Now Live. This is part one of a four-part docu-series entitled The COVID Chronicles, where I'm going to take a deeper dive into the lives of four different people in four different industries that are all being affected and impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, as you know, my goal here on Beautiful Now Live is simple. I want to bring you topics that are relevant to you, your family, and your community and help you create a healthy dialogue that could possibly bring answers to all of us so that we can find a better way to have a more productive, beautiful quality of life. Your own beautiful now, if you will. And if you enjoyed the content you see here, please hit us with a like or subscribe to the channel. This lets me get the most updated content to you as soon as it's available. Also, all of our segments are powered by and brought to you by IK Multimedia and Lewitt Microphones. Last but not least, if you really think this content has relevance or that it can help someone else see, please hit us with a share. Share on whatever platform you're watching, whether it be Facebook Live, YouTube, whatever. Share the content so that someone else can add their value to the dialogue, so that someone else can bring us the answers that we're seeking, so we all can have a beautiful now. Now, part one, this segment is going to be talking to a special guest who happens to work in the live entertainment industry. Now, if you think about it, all the shows that we are seeing, the Broadway shows, concerts, sporting events, those venues, those are all shut down because of COVID restrictions. So no one can go to a concert. But you're sitting there thinking, man, I'm so upset that I can't go see my Garth Brooks or whatever the latest rock star is. But maybe you haven't considered, what about all the folks that work behind the scenes? They're the ones who are hurting the most. They're the ones who are struggling. So our minor inconvenience is nothing compared to the hundreds of people working behind the scenes that all of a sudden have no job. All of a sudden can't get a paycheck. All of a sudden they're trying to struggle to pay their bills. So my guest today just happens to be the backline crew chief and keyboard technician for the biggest rock band of all time, Aerosmith. And he's going to share a little bit about what it's like right now for all those people who can't work, who would love to be bringing you your show, bringing you your tour, but they can't because of COVID. My good friend, will you help me welcome Bruce Hendricks? Bruce, you there, buddy?
Hello, hello. Yes, I am.
How are you doing, man?
I am here. COVID-19 has definitely thrown a wrench into my entire life.
It feels like I haven't seen you in 100 years because you're always on the go. You're always on tour, man. You've been that guy for 20 years since I've known you.
On average, I spend 250 days away from home on a tour bus somewhere in the world, making the show happen.
But you're the rock star without all the rock star headache, right? That's what I always think.
Exactly.
That's what I always think of, man. So you know what? You have worked for the super rock band Aerosmith for how many years now?
Going on and off 18 years.
Wow. So what exactly do you do for the band? Like, give me your titles and what do you do there?
Title is I'm the backline crew chief. Now backline is what all the band instruments are called: drums, guitars, keyboards. So I've got a staff of 6 that look after each instrument, but it all boils down to me managing, everything from how to pack the truck to making sure that we have all the spare parts on hand. And my second, more primary part of the gig is I'm the keyboard technician. So I set up the keyboards every day. We carry a 1957 Hammond organ on Aerosmith, so it's got to be maintenanced, tubes checked. Before the band hits the stage, we listen to the records. We determine what sounds are needed. Aerosmith used a lot of vintage keyboards back in the day, like Mellotrons and RMI pianos. And I've got to duplicate that sound for the crowd so it sounds just like the record.
Wow. I mean, because when you go to a concert, you want it to sound pretty close to the record, right? You want it to be pretty spot on.
Some sounds I consider signature sounds. When you hear that sound at the beginning of the song, you know the song right away. And I can't have it sound kind of like it.
Yeah, true. It's got to be it or nothing. Yeah. And people don't realize how many people like yourself are back there putting this show together. How many people do you think it would take, or how many people, since you know, does it take to put together an Aerosmith show?
Break it down by departments to make it a little easier. So the band alone has 6 guys looking after their equipment. There's a production manager. There's a lighting crew. Lighting crew can be 6 to 10 people. There's sound, another 6 to 10 people. You've got carpenters that build the set, wardrobe that washes all the costume. You got the production manager. You've got an accountant. It's a multi-million-dollar a day business. Now, all in all, on the last Aerosmith tour, we had about 65 people in buses traveling city to city. When we get to cities, we'll handle about 80 to 100 local union stagehands to assist in unloading the 27 semis and making the show happen. We also have the catering staff that feeds us every day. You've got the travel agents that book the shows, and it trickles down that you've got the security guards and the ushers in the arena. So 60 people from Aerosmith all of a sudden jumps to 300 to 500 people, depending on the size of the venue for the day. Obviously, if it's a smaller arena, less security, less stage hands. But some of the bigger arenas, it can be 500 people. And then to step away from the arena, you've got the restaurants, the hotels, the downtown areas that have lost an enormous amount of revenue because 20,000 people are not descending on downtown to see a sporting event or to see a concert.
Wow. So this is a magnitude that's larger than we think. Live entertainment, sports entertainment, live venues are really suffering, right?
Really suffering. I know locally, my local arena, the Mountain State Arena, they went down to 2 people on staff, 1 maintenance guy and a manager. They normally had 20 to 30 people working. It has just been devastating to this industry. We estimate that there are about 12 million people just in the United States that their jobs have gone away. Derek, I don't know when I'm ever going to work again. I would love to go to a show right now. I would wear all the personal protocol, but we just can't do it safely on the big scale till COVID is a thing of the past.
Wow. And how many shows do you think you would averagely do in a year? How many shows are affected by that?
Said 250 days gone, show every day, every other day, depending on the artist. So I'm somewhere between 150 and 160, 70 shows a year, and that's
Wow.
worldwide. I go everywhere the band goes.
So you're thinking, and I'm making sure the magnitude is being spoken here. There's so many people in every city, in every state, across the country, across the world for that matter, that are connected to the venues. Like you said, now we realize all those people aren't working. All the merchants, the hot dog merchants, the restaurants, the hotels, everybody on the stage with you, the stagehands, the lighting, all those folks, all of a sudden, no work.
Now, we've experimented so far with some outdoor shows, drive-in shows, and it's good for a single show or a few shows, but the financial side of it, it's just not, it's expensive to put a show on. And if you can't recoup, you can only do so many shows and lose money. And without the additional, in drive-in shows, you have to bring your own food, you bring your own drinks. You can't really get out of your space. So that kills t-shirt sales, all the merch, and all the concessions. So it makes it very difficult to move forward with live shows until this thing is just done.
What about the smaller venues, like a little small club, the local club where people are just getting started? The singer-songwriter guy that comes on stage, and the smaller, maybe 100-seaters, 500-seaters. Can we start there and put it back?
Well, unfortunately, those are the businesses that have held on these past few months, and we are starting to see the demise. There's a lot of small venues that are announcing their closures permanently because they simply can't pay the rent in the building. They can't pay the insurance because they have no money coming in. But yes, it's going to have to start out in the smaller clubs. Nashville has opened up Broadway, and they're starting to have shows. I've got some friends who play there on the strip in Nashville, and they are working, and people are coming. People are starved for entertainment. I guarantee you can't find someone who will say that they don't wish they could go to a play or a show or a graduation or a trade show. So many levels of live entertainment. You just kind of forget about that, trade shows. We're not going to be able to do the NAMM, the biggest show for music this year. It's going to be virtual.
Yeah, that's going to be insane. And I keep thinking about how that's affecting all those people that normally come every year, how we're supposed to show our newest products and meet with our customers, meet with our dealers. That's a big event where we really get a lot of things happening for the next year coming forward, where we introduce new things. Not here, gone. So many things gone. And what type of relief does the government give the people that work in these places? I mean, are you guys on a contract basis? Are you W-2? I mean, how do we get things to you if you're not working? Do you get unemployment? What happens?
My story is different. With Aerosmith, we are all W-2 employees of the band. They were very gracious when this all started, and we were kept on salary on a retainer until the point that the band pulled the plug on the entire summer shows. I'm able to get unemployment. The government has, of course, given assistance, but that assistance is dried out. And Derek, I did my budget just this week, and I'm $1,000 a week in the hole because unemployment's not covering my expenses. And I live in a very small area. There's not many jobs for me to go have. And the difficulty is the employers don't want to hire someone that they know will be leaving as soon as their preferred profession comes back into play.
Yeah, that's got to be a dilemma that people don't understand, that you can't go get a kind of job for a little while because that person isn't going to want to hire you knowing you're going to be out of here, and they can't afford to pour the dollars into it to train you just so you can leave. That doesn't work.
Absolutely. I just had a company turn me down because of that sheer fact. They want someone permanent. Now, what we can do, we all want live shows to come back. And there's obviously the 3 number 1 steps. People, wear your masks. It's an inconvenience. It sucks. I hate mine, but I rock it everywhere I go because it is proven by people who are way smarter than any of us that that's the way to go. Wash your hands, socially distance. Less is more these days. Don't throw parties. Don't go to crowded places if you don't have to. The government is really, really not doing anything for us. It is very depressing that we're waiting and waiting for some kind of a relief package, and we're arguing over the election at this point in time. Now, there's 2 places that everybody can go and help all your people out, the roadies out. The first one is wemakeevents.org.
Okay.
This is a coalition of people like me. I'm actually the West Virginia regional director. We're going to Congress. We're going to the government, reminding them about all the small businesses, which you really don't think Aerosmith is a small business, but it really is. And the second place you can go to is helpsmallbusinessesnow.com. Both of them have links. All you got to do is push a button, put your name in, put your email in, put your zip code in. It's going to shoot letters off to all your Congress people, all your House of Representatives. They have to pass what's called the Restart Act. This is going to give guys like me a little bit extra money to get through. And that is going to be the key. Unless we can get through this, I'm going to go find something else to do, and there's not going to be a keyboard tech for Aerosmith in 2 years from now.
People don't realize that. Listen to what he's saying now. So live entertainment's been affected so deeply that if we don't pass something, if we don't put something together to get these people over the hump, so to speak, when it does come back, some of them will be in poverty. Some of them will have other jobs. They won't even be present to bring you back the entertainment you're so looking for with waiting for Broadway shows and sporting events and these great concerts. There'll be no one to put those concerts on if we don't figure out a way to help, right?
Absolutely. It's already starting to cripple my friends. I've got a great friend who's driving Lyft. He used to be production manager for some of the biggest bands in the world. Shakira's stage manager is working at Home Depot temporarily part-time to help out. We got people losing their houses. Last year, they were on the road. They were making a great salary. Their kids were in private school. They had the life. And now they are literally going to a food bank because there was no unemployment for them at that point. Unemployment totally let us down. People waited 6 months to get checks. And then they got taken care of, but they had to put off all these expenses. And it is in dire need. I'm very lucky. I own my house, so that is one expense. But I bought a new truck last year, Derek, never thinking in the world. And I was determined I was going to be the fastest payoff in Toyota history. So I sunk a lot of money into it. And I'm glad because now I've had to, every month, I have to look at my budget and say, I can't really afford my truck payment, but luckily they're working with me and I can skip this payment.
Wow.
And as we mentioned before, the small businesses, I know everybody out there has a restaurant that they are going, man, I love that place. It's a shame it went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, restaurants are hurting too. But
Here's a question for you then. With the virus still on the rise in certain places where you just haven't got it under control yet, is there a middle ground that we can have to meet where we're maybe doing smaller events or smaller spaces, social distancing in the stadium or social distancing with the mask on? I've seen that happening with sports events. Can concerts get to that level somehow, some way?
I certainly hope so. These stadiums are sitting empty for 4 days out of the week. Let's roll a small stage into them, put a show on, whether it's a local art or something, help people get back to the new normal, social distancing and masks, yes. The internet has provided us with, online concerts, very intimate performances with artists, and they've been gracious enough to do a lot of this, absolutely out of their pockets. But to do a tour requires so much personal interaction with me and the band. I live those 200 days plus on a tour bus with 10 other people packed in. There is no social distancing. I sleep.
Yeah. You can't do that on a bus, dude.
You can't.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
all it would take was one person in the crew to be sick. And especially with a band like Aerosmith or Fleetwood Mac, they're older. They're susceptible. They've had Tom Hamilton of Aerosmith has had cancer. He's a high risk. I'm diabetic. I'm on the high risk. I'm not leaving the house until, for any other reason that's not required. I'm staying away from people because, I've got everything to lose if this doesn't turn around.
Wow.
And
wow.
There's all the financial side of it is one thing for me, but Derek, I don't know what to do. I don't have my job. I don't have my life. I'm fulfilling, to try to stay, positive. I've grown a garden and herbs this summer. And
Look at you, you're a gardener.
Because I always wanted to do it, but I was always on tour.
Sure.
So I've done some things I've never got to do. I'll never garden again. It's a pain in the butt. But I did it. And but it is really difficult from the just waking up every day with, I have no reason to go on. You got to get past that because, it is going to get over. We are going to get back to shows, but it's going to take a team. And, we all grew up with a real simple phrase, people: united we stand, divided we fall. Well, we need a little more united against this thing. I don't care what your beliefs are, politically, whatever. We need to work as a team these days. And, if Kennedy told us to all go wear face masks 50 years ago, not a single person would be on the streets without one. We've lost that. We've lost that. And
well spoken.
We're not going to get it back if we keep acting the way we are now.
And you're part of an organization that you mentioned earlier. You said WeMakeMusic.org. Tell me a little bit about tell me what it's about. Give me a little bit more heads up about it.
Well, it started in Europe as just letting their governments know concerts needed to be looked at. Live entertainment was a sector that was just decimated. They held an event in August where hundreds of buildings turned all their exterior lighting red, interior lighting, just to gain awareness for the government. On September 1st, we did it here in America. We've got several people from the NAMM Association, a gentleman by the name of Michael Strickland, who runs Bandit Lighting. They're a company that supplies the thousands of lights to Adele and the Foo Fighters. And they're in D.C. every day, going from door to door, reminding people, Congress people, House of Representatives, speakers of the House, Restart Act. They have to put wording in to cover this 12 million people, because I've always said, if we do our jobs correctly, you'll never even know we were there. You might see me run out and hand a guitar to Johnny Depp, but you're going to see a figure in black. So people just don't even think about what we do. And we've been very lucky with WeMakeEvents.org that we have gotten pretty much every representative in DC aware. The problem is they're just fighting each other over it. Nobody wants to just go, what is best for America? It's all, well, I get this and I get this. And the whole government has just gotten ridiculous with their push and pull. Let's help the people out. 12 million just live employment. I have, the highest unemployment in history. Cirque du Soleil gone. Broadway gone. You don't think about, think of concerts, but we've got, do you remember being in your school play as a kid?
Yeah.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
I got my bug being on stage at 7, 8 years old. And I just knew then. And kids are missing their symphony concerts and their spring jazz band concerts in high school. And those are trickled down. The bands sell the tapes of the concerts, and that's what pays for the sheet music.
Sure. So much affected. And I just want to curtail it just to say, this isn't a political video. This isn't a Democrat or Republican video. This is a video that we're trying to just get people to understand COVID is affecting so many parts of the industry that maybe you're not aware of, and to be conscious of the fact of what we can do. Like he's saying, just wear your mask. Protect yourself, protect those around you, and be thinking about someone else rather than just yourself. And that's the point of the COVID Chronicles, is just to make you aware that there's so much more happening out there and how you could possibly help. So let me just close it in the space of saying, okay, Bruce, you've laid out quite a bit that's going on out there. WeMakeEvents.org, other organizations that they can help. What's the one last thing you want to tell everyone out there to do to help you get back to work?
We've covered it. Social distance, face masks, support your local food banks. Just be a good person out there. Go to helpsmallbusinessesnow.com. Sign so Congress sees we did reach our 1.5 million letters today that we needed to get even thought about. And we did reach that, and there's hopefully some good news coming from Congress in the next few weeks. But it is just really, as you said, it's not political. We all just have to step up and be great human beings for, again, we got it in us. I've seen this happen, and we are going to get through this. But there's people in 1,000 different jobs other than mine that are hurting. Give your waitresses, when you go your takeout, throw them a little extra, just help people. And that is really what it's all about, Derek. That's
I love it. I love it. Do unto others, man. Do unto others. It's about, we got to do it. And I believe it 100%, not just because it's my faith, but I believe it's true. You sow unto others, you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It comes back, man. You're helping someone else. There's nothing better than that. It does. So, well, Bruce, man, I know you've been an amazing friend to me, and I know you've done awesome things on tour, and super excited that you're still hanging in there. But I'm going to make sure I keep tabs on you, brother. Make sure you're still doing what you got to do, and we hope this thing comes back sooner than later. We all miss our shows, we all miss our concerts, but I know you miss doing the job you love more than anything. You love the job, so we miss you being out there.
I love what I do, and I'll leave it with this. I can't wait to see every single one of you come up to the stage soon and yell, "Hey, Bruce, I saw your podcast." That gives me chills right now, because I know it's going to happen again. Thank you
Oh,
for
wow.
having me, Derek. What a pleasure. You do great stuff. And thanks for everybody for listening.
And we appreciate you out there. Thank you for taking a moment to watch the COVID Chronicles Part 1. And of course, Part 2 is coming up next week. Be looking for that. But share this episode with a friend. Put the share button. Hit the like button. Let's see some people watch this episode, because it's more than just us that are concerned about this. Share it with someone that maybe you didn't realize needed to talk about this. It's whatever buddy that's telling you, oh, I wish I could go see a show, or I wish I could go see my Broadway show, or I wish I hadn't seen my concert, or those guys, send this podcast to them, because they'll need to know why they can't make it and how they should be helping those that are working for it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one. Take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.